And I just want to say this to the Democrats, which I'm an independent who voted Democratic. Do me this favor. Shut the up. When you win, you get to say what you want to. When you lose, you need to shut the hell up. Oh, President Biden they didn't get him out the race soon enough. Kamala didn't do this. We lost because we had no game plan. We still haven't solved the immigration problem, have no viable answers, never addressed inflation.
Dang.
Bringing all these stupid stars out to rally the vote. What was that? Hey, I love Beyonce. What bringing her out? That ain't gonna make me vote a certain way. Cardi B, I like Cardi B. That ain't gonna make me vote a certain type of way. You guys lost because y'all stupid.
And I also felt that, and again, I think she really did well in so many areas, and but I was frustrated by her inability to really succinctly answer questions at times, Jen, and to kind of, like, if she was asked about changing the Supreme Court at that CNN town hall, she had an opportunity to talk about ethics and what, you know, Alito and Clarence Thomas were doing, and she answered like in one sentence and then like went on to something that had nothing to do with the question. You know, people notice that, and it's like, answer the goddamn question, please.
I mean, yeah.
This is for President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and all the Democrats that are in office. Do something. Stop this. You tell us for months what a danger this man is, and now he is proving it to everybody, and you guys are nowhere to be found, and nothing is being done. People are demanding a recount. People are demanding something be done. We stood by you. We did everything you asked us to do, and then you just conceded and disappeared. And now we are all facing the hell that is coming. Nothing that we can see is being done about this. Nothing. You need to do something, because this is our lives on the line. You want democracy? Fight for it. We're doing what we can. We don't have the power. You do. Fight for it. Fight for us. We deserve it.
Betrayal.
You know why we lost this election? It actually has nothing to do with voter fraud or election tampering. It has everything to do with the fact that liberals are more concerned with being right than they are with actually getting things done. This has always been the case, and it will forever be the case until we realize that that is not how we're going to get things done in this country. 20% less Democrats voted this year than in 2020. And for anyone who decided not to vote in this election, I do hope you realize that your decision not to do so will directly impact people in this country, across the country. And that goes the same for one-issue voters who decided not to vote at all or to vote for a third-party candidate. Your privilege is getting in the way of the fact that there are people actually struggling in this country. And
We are currently in a Democrat civil war. They are currently fighting each other for this election loss. And it actually looks worse than conservatives. You know, they always talk about conservatives have all this infighting. And my theory to that was, well, we were fighting because we were losing. You see, now that we control everything, and I mean everything, there's not much to fight with ourselves about. You see, when you're not succeeding, you're going to look within. That's what you're supposed to do. You either look at everyone else or you look at yourself. And political parties typically look at their self, the right ones. They'll look at their self when they want to grow and evolve and correct their mistakes. Liberals are currently in an era where they're looking at themselves. They say, man, we're losing ourselves these elections at this point. We're the problem. This is a renaissance we're witnessing. And honestly, the best type of civil war you could actually have.
Our need to morally grandstand is actively going to hurt people of color, minorities, the LGBT community, women, in red states all across the country. So I hope you feel good about yourself.
As someone who spent the last few months traveling to swing states to talk to voters, I have a lot of thoughts about the results of the election. Now, I know there's a lot of takes flying around, so I actually released this video series talking about these conversations I would have with voters. And a lot of these conversations that I uploaded, you can find in my little bookmark tab. I know there's a lot of infighting, there's a lot of fingers pointing at a lot of people, and it really it boils down to the economy and prices. I was talking to people who were lifelong Democrats that were really hurting. They were in really horrible financial situations. They care about democratic things, but they just didn't want to vote because they felt like Democrats weren't fighting for them. They were being screwed by the system. And it was really hard to convince them to vote for Kamala when they had really valid reasons to be really upset with the current state of things. Anyone else travel? Like, what were other people's takeaways from these conversations at the doors? Like, I would love to have this open discussion.
Y'all, just to be perfectly clear, it wasn't the Palestinian movement that derailed the election. And not even the pro-Palestinian movement necessarily, just a few bad actors that either told us to keep Palestine out of their mouth if we're going to support Harris, or to ignore our own oppression in lieu of another person's oppression. Even though it was only a few people in the pro-Palestinian movement, they still had a reach of millions. Yeah, Jill Stein only got like 500,000 votes out of the millions of votes that were cast, so she wasn't a factor, but the people that spoke about Palestine did have a lot of reach. It still didn't derail the election because, in all honesty, not enough people give a shit about Palestine in this country, so it was never a deciding factor of this vote. It's also not the fault of Hispanic people voting for Trump because they have had a lifelong struggle with wanting to obtain the gaze of whiteness and white supremacy. They have to deal with their own colorist issues, so that was not shocking. It is not the fault of a terribly ran campaign by Harris. That campaign was flawless. Like I said yesterday, no notes. It is white supremacy that got us here. White supremacy is the sole reason Kamala Harris lost the election. It has nothing to do with policies. It has nothing to do with qualifications. It has nothing to do with anything that you think she did or not. It is about white people, full stop. And other white people know it. That's why they're so enraged. So pro-Palestinian outrage, like, they are going through their own struggle. Let them go through it. Everyone has to make a choice on who they voted for. That is what they did. And now here we are. Hispanic people and pro-Palestinian people combined still can't make up the numbers when it comes to white people. All minorities combined that vote will still not outnumber white people.
She's stupid.
So this is a white people problem.
It doesn't matter.
So white people are going to have to fix it. Okay? All right. You guys have a good one.
Kamala Harris didn't lose the election because she couldn't raise money. She lost because while American families were struggling to put food on their tables, her campaign was dropping $100,000 on a custom podcast set for just one single interview on Call Her Daddy. She lost because while working people were counting every dollar at the grocery store, she blew $20 million on Election Eve concerts, featuring aging celebrities like Lady Gaga and Bon Jovi, concerts that left local residents stuck in traffic jams, unable to even get home. She lost because while small businesses were shutting down, her team spent $3.9 million paying influencers to pretend they supported her, while Trump's supporters showed up for free. Isn't it funny that after raising $1 billion, she ended up $20 million in debt? That's right. She couldn't even manage her own campaign budget, yet wanted to run the world's largest economy. American politics has changed forever. You will no longer be able to manufacture support by throwing money at celebrities and influencers. It won't work. Unfortunately, our politicians seem to forget their public servants. They think a $100,000 podcast set matters more than addressing real issues affecting real Americans. The people aren't fooled anymore. They see through the paid endorsements and fancy sets, or they get left in the dust, as Kamala learned the hard way yesterday.
Yet again, liberals are turning on each other. What a time to be alive. They're turning on each other, and it's at the right time. And it's a few of these days after the election, and it's giving the people the ability to look out, to look within. At first, we saw the blame game, and I find this kind of similar to the mourning of loss. You find yourself blaming this person, blaming that person for the results, and then when you get alone in your thoughts, you start thinking, how did I get myself here? And liberals, they're experiencing something very rare, America, at least for them. Self-reflection, responsibility, the remembrance of choice. It's like liberals make choices and forget what just happened. You see, I like how that video ended it saying that we're in a new era of elections where you can't just throw money at politicians to get a vote. That's exactly what they did, and it just doesn't work. They were pushing a model from 2002 to probably, I'll say about 2009, and it just does not work. And now they're blaming everyone. They're saying, oh, it's the Palestinians. Oh, it's the whites. Oh, it's the influencers. Oh, it's the bad campaign. Oh, it's the minorities. It's everything they're saying has to do with their party. See, now, this is the thing. I don't think none of that is wrong. I think it's a compilation of everything, which is why I created that compilation video that you guys just seen, because it's a compilation of everything. You see, they didn't just lose on one front, they lost on a multitude. They lost on so many different aspects, from business to culture. They've lost. They've lost all the way to politics. Like, politicians want a Republican rule, business owners want a Republican rule. Culturally, the people that's doing the Trump dance here and there, they want a cultural rule. They want conservatives to run this thing. They want conservatives to take over this country. That's what America's looking for, conservative leadership. And liberals are thinking, how did it get to this point? They should think that way. Hell, we used to think it. Conservatives used to think, how did we get this bad? How did they be able to control Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Disney, high school, college, grad school, med school? It don't matter. It does not matter. They controlled every form of society. And we like, how did we get here? Well, they're in the same position. They're wondering the same thing that conservatives used to. We're even seeing them denying the election. We're even seeing them leaving the app, going to something called Blue Sky that no one's looking for. We're seeing them make the same moves that conservatives did. And now to me, it's making conservatives not look that special. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying it in the way that they react to things. Calling them conspiracy theorists. Well, liberals are pushing conspiracies now that they lost. Saying they're crazy for wanting to leave Twitter and go to Parler at that time. Well, liberals are doing the same thing, going to Blue Sky. Nothing new under the sun. People are doing what was done before. Because once you lose, you look within, and those that reject, they leave. It doesn't matter what party you are. And I think this loss for liberals actually can help show America that we're more similar than different. We even act the same way when we lose. Even when we win. You can see a lot of conservatives come out and break down, hey, I didn't like this about the election. I didn't like this policy. I didn't like this person really. Right as soon as Trump won, you seen all the truth come out. It tells me that both of these parties are focused on number one, and that's the party itself. And sometimes truth doesn't get the opportunity to shine through like it should when people choose party over people. I am hoping to God after this whole Trump era that we start choosing people over party again. But it'll start with the conservatism, because let's be real. It feels like we're living in Star Wars, and liberals, they're the empire. It's time for retribution. It's time for a new light. And I think it's going to kind of mellow things down. I don't want to see a conservative dominated America. I want to see a united America. We're called United States for a reason. Although we are separate, we are united under our Constitution. So let's get that way again. Hell yeah, let's get there again. I'm tired of being mad at liberals. I don't know about you. For real, tell the truth in the chat. Liberals, if you're tired of being conservatives, tell the truth. I'm tired of having these weird, awkward moments with family. I'm tired of not being able to open up and talk about the things I want to. I want to be able to go to the store and say, I disagree with that, but I like you. I rock with you. You my neighbor, you my brother. It's cool. Let me try to understand why you got to that conclusion. And I can tell you why I got to mine, and maybe we can conclude that we both wrong. I am so ready for that day. But I'm more ready for you to please like, comment, and subscribe on this post so you can see the next ones. And most importantly, click the notification bell so we can continue to break the narratives. Thank you. See you on the next one. I got more coming, as you know.